Zombies are physical. They are material. There's nothing spiritual or supernatural about zombies. There's a reason for this. You see, we have a problem, an infestation of zombies. And they are here because we are in the middle of a major cultural identity crisis. They are here to remind us that we do not know who we are. When identities are stable, no monsters. But when we are trying to suppress the real truth about ourselves, well, then there's monsters. So what is it that we are suppressing that has attracted all these zombies? It has something to do with reality and how we think about ourselves. Our reality, the way we think of it, doesn't have any fairies or demons or angels. We don't believe in magic or heaven or any of that stuff. By our way of thinking, these things are unrealistic, and we live in reality. Well, this attitude has attracted the zombie horde. Zombies are wholly natural, completely physical, and thoroughly material, which means they contain no supernatural or spiritual qualities. The world they terrorize is the same. It's all immanence. It's no transcendence. Just look at the setting of Night of the Living Dead, and then look at all the settings of the monster movies that preceded it. In the early years, the setting in most zombie films was extraordinary, enchanted even. Extraordinary in the sense that the locales were exotic and the natural world felt alive and sometimes malevolent. In Frankenstein, the laboratory is an old castle, and a violent lightning storm participates in the animation of Frankenstein's creature. The final act involves the pursuit of the monster up into the craggy mountain, with the sky full of violent brooding.
I bid you welcome.
Dracula has a similar unreal setting, featuring an ancient, crumbling castle filled with cobwebs. The story takes us to the unreal environs of a graveyard and an asylum. Sinister, swirling mists complement every outdoor scene. Speaking of the malevolent mist in the graveyard, this is the Wolfman. It's as if nature itself is participating in the horror. Exotic locales? Isn't this one nice? Yes, it looks like a good place to swim. But she seems a little vulnerable. I hope there's nothing in that water. George Romero broke with this convention in the first modern zombie movie, The Night of the Living Dead. The movie starts in an ordinary graveyard, presented in an ordinary way. It's not creepy or malevolent, no mists accompany the ambulatory dead, it's just a cemetery. The story moves on to an ordinary farmhouse. It's not in the middle of a deep dark forest. It's not gothic or ominous. No storms arrive on cue. It's just a farmhouse. The world of Night of the Living Dead is a wholly material or immanent one. AMC's The Walking Dead is just as immanent. It's visually stark, the colors are faded, the vibrancy is muted, the settings are realistic and familiar. The motor home, the farm in the country, the small town, the suburbs, and the factories, they're all just ordinary. The realism and familiarity of these settings increase the horror when we see the world as we know it filled with zombies and marauders. Like the settings, the zombies are a thoroughly material or physical or immanent monster. There's a reason for this. In the modern secular West, we no longer believe in things beyond or above the physical. Our reality is a material reality. In the past, when we believed in the supernatural, we had monsters that were supernatural. Ghosts and ghouls and demons and witches. A few hundred years ago, when we started thinking of the universe as more of a clock than an enchanted forest, our monsters lost their transcendence. Ghosts and ghouls and witches, which all had spiritual or magical dimensions, were replaced by things like the werewolf. Werewolves are not supernatural, but they are superhuman. They are bigger and stronger and faster than the ordinary human being. They have all the weapons of the wolf, the claws, the teeth, the speed, and the veracity. But it's even more cunning and stronger and faster than ordinary Canis lupus, because it also has the attributes of man. Frankenstein's creation was also superhuman. It was 8 feet tall, and its strength was apparent in the ease with which he killed people, and harvested root vegetables from the frozen earth. Count Dracula has strength that is equivalent to that of 20 strong men, and a great many other superhuman abilities in his monster toolbox. What makes zombies unique in the monster pantheon is that they are far from superhuman. In fact, they are in every way subhuman. One-on-one, they are hardly a threat. Whack them in the head with something solid, like a garden shovel or a cricket bat, and they are done. And they are done. The threat of the zombie is not its size or strength or speed, but only its volume. And I refer here to the zombie horde. This lack of superness is apparent in all true zombie films. In Romero's Night of the Living Dead, the dead, except for the fact that they are walking, are very ordinary. They are wearing regular clothes. They are fat and they are thin. They are old and they are young. And they are vulnerable. Just hit them in the head and they go down. There is very little difference between the zombies and one's neighbor. It's part of their charm. As a modern monster, like the werewolf or Frankenstein's monster, the zombie has no supernatural qualities. But unlike them, it has no superhuman qualities either. They can't do what a 5-year-old can do. So what? What does their ordinariness tell us about ourselves? We believe that the world is completely physical, material, natural, that there's nothing spiritual or supernatural in it. Same with ourselves. No soul, no emotion or thought that isn't the product of electrical or chemical processes. We say we accept the world this way, and we call it being realistic. But we live like life has something more. For instance, I don't think we live like love is chemical and electric and glandular. And when the family is gathered around the table for Thanksgiving, we generally don't bask in the wonder of the evolutionary processes that made the experience so special. When we watch David Attenborough's incredible nature videos, it's not so easy to write it all off as chance. It seems too incredible to be the end of a random chain of events. And speaking of incredible, don't get me started on baseball. It may be that all these things are glandular secretions and evolutionary, but we don't live like they are, and this is the sort of inconsistency that monsters go crazy for. It's an identity thing. Am I just physical, or am I something more? Well, we're not really sure. We have at least a niggling doubt. So that's the point at which our identity is weakened, and monsters sense the weakness, and they attack right at that spot. You see how zombies embody these doubts? They are very in your face about it too. They show us what we might be if our belief in materialism is actually true. They are humans without love, Thanksgiving, or baseball. They are sort of saying, are you sure? If we collectively were a little more certain in our belief in an only material, only physical reality, then there'd be one less reason for zombies to be here. But they are here. That's just one of the reasons the zombies are here. We'll cover other reasons in future videos, but the next one or two will be about why zombies are so gross. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.